Two questions. One on peace. Why don't you think any other European countries are offering a peace deal? It seems like no one's come to the table for peace except for you.
Yeah.
Mr. President, why is no one else as peaceful as you are, sir? Why is no one else interested in doing peace? Why are you the only one?
Moscow launched 67 missiles and nearly 200 drones against Ukraine's energy and gas infrastructure overnight. The strikes hit targets across the country from Kharkiv in the east all the way to Ternopil in the west. And despite incendiary language aimed almost exclusively at the Ukrainian president since he returned to the White House in January, on Friday, Donald Trump threatened new sanctions.
Hey, maybe I have an idea. What if you didn't undermine the proxy for the past 2 months? What if you hadn't done that while simultaneously trying to put forth a negotiation? I think that probably would have been better, don't you think? I think perhaps that would have been the smart play here, which would have been to basically reverse the roles, right? Like the way that Trump treats Israel, he should treat Ukraine like that. And the way that Trump treats Ukraine, he should treat, well, no one should treat any country like Israel, let's be real. But like, you know, closer to the way that he treats Israel with respect to Ukraine, while also getting everybody to the table to put forth a ceasefire, a real ceasefire and a real negotiation.
Donald Trump has just announced that he is calling on Russia to get to the negotiating table. That, I think, follows those attacks overnight that you were just referring to, with those 60 missile attacks and 200 drone attacks in Ukrainian territory. I'll read you this statement from President Trump. He says, based on the fact that Russia is pounding Ukraine on the battlefield, I'm strongly considering large-scale banking sanctions and tariffs on Russia until a ceasefire and final settlement has been reached.
Came out and said Trump's two-faced policies are wrong and that you can't have negotiations with Russia without Ukraine at the table. What is my man doing? What is Donald Trump? What is JD Pondon doing? Actually, what the hell is going on? And he's like doing cryptocurrency schemes. The job market is not looking too hot. And his top foreign policy official Wang Yi cast Beijing as a force for good and blasted the U.S. for being two-faced at a news conference during China's annual session of parliament on Friday. Wang was asked directly if Trump's retreat from multilateral forums, freezing on foreign aid and strained relations with allies, presented a strategic opening for China on the global stage. He demurred. Imagine if every country prioritized itself above all else and placed blind faith in power and status. This world would regress to the law of the jungle, where smaller and weaker nations would bear the brunt of instability, and the international order and rule-based system would face severe disruption, Wang said. He said major powers have a responsibility to fulfill their international obligations and act with accountability. Pursuing self-interest at the expense of others or wielding power to intimidate is unacceptable. President Trump's tilt towards Russia has raised questions about him doing a possible reverse Nixon, i.e. cozying up to Moscow to isolate Beijing, flipping President Nixon's script from the early 1970s. This engaged in a detente with China to pressure the Soviet Union, its primary Cold War rival. But Wang said the historical logic of China's good relations with Russia was steadfast. I want to emphasize that regardless of changes in the international landscape, the historic logic of the China-Russia friendship remains unchanged, and the internal driving forces behind our relationship remain strong. In terms of the Ukraine war, China has tried to position itself as a potential mediator, able to help bring the war in Ukraine to an end. But since Trump's foreign policy shift towards Russia, Beijing has been largely left on the sidelines. China's envoy to the EU, Liu Xiaoye, appalled by Trump's treatment of Europe. This is from the South China Morning Post. China's special envoy for European affairs, Liu Xiaoye, said he was appalled by the way President Donald Trump had treated American allies in Europe, adding that a peace deal for Ukraine should not be determined only by the U.S. and Russia. Russia is the party that is committing the wrong. That much is correct.
We're talking, would I find that in terms of getting a final settlement, it may be easier dealing with Russia, which is surprising because they have all the cards. I mean, they're bombing the hell out of them right now. And I put a statement in, a very strong statement.
We got all the cards. They got none of the cards. We got all the cards. Cards are ours.
And
PSA 10. I opened the cards. I say to myself, that's a new Pokemon. I will this Pokemon.
Get on the ball and get a job done.
Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I got to hand it to Megaphonics on this take. You clock this. The fighting has to stop. Sounding like an ineffectual Brandon. No, the Brandonization of Trump is clear here, okay? When it comes down to Ukraine, he does sound like Brandon. Just like Brandon was Benjamin Netanyahu's little bitch boy, Trump is behaving like Vladimir Putin's little bitch boy, where everyone's got their favorites. Everyone's got their favorites, baby. I'm working tirelessly for a ceasefire. Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. Let's take a look at what his question is.
Two questions. One on peace. Why don't you think any other European countries are offering a peace deal? It seems like no one's come to the table for peace except for you.
Yeah.
Mr. President, why is no one else as peaceful as you are, sir? Why is no one else interested in doing peace? Why are you the only one, Mr. President? How does anyone think this guy is presidential material? What do you mean? He's the GOAT. He's fixing everything, dude. He's killing it. He's the greatest of all time. He's gonna finally make the egg prices go down. He's doing day one peace.
I say your allies are calling on you to pardon Derek Chauvin. Are you considering pardoning Derek Chauvin?
No, I haven't even heard about it.
Oh my God, Ben Shapiro, you're so fucking washed. Ben,
No
you're
motion,
washed.
Mr. Zero Motion.
Yo, you are so washed, dude. That video got 75,000 views in 2 days.
Oh yeah, right. We looked at that.
Yeah,
that was
or like
crazy.
50,000.
But also, like again, I stand by what I said. It was but it was entirely CYA for him because if you Googled before this month, if you Googled Ben Shapiro, Derek Chauvin, you would get the video where for like the first time in Ben Shapiro's like miserable life, he showed some humanity or empathy or whatever. Thought, it was like, that's
can't
not
have
right.
that. Nope.
No, but so now when you Google Ben Shapiro, Derek Chauvin, even though there was probably never going to be a chance of the pardon because Trump can't free the guy because he's serving the state sentence. He's, like now Ben Shapiro has solved his problem. All I can say is that like it's it's impressively cynical even for like a shit stain like Ben Shapiro. Like that's pretty impressive.